Hey, IDC fam. Welcome to this episode of Get to Know Your Elders. I'm Christy Britton, and I'm joined today with Dr. Tony Merida.
Thank you.
We're going to get to know Tony a little bit for all of those who don't. So, Tony, we're just going to get right in. Tell us a little bit about yourself, family, wife,
Yeah.
testimony, all of it.
Yeah, so I was born in Detroit, Michigan in 1977. Grew up in Kentucky. Went to college on a baseball scholarship. Became a follower of Christ in college. Soon sensed a call to ministry. Ended up going to New Orleans Baptist Seminary, where I finished completed a master's and PhD. Along the way, I was doing a lot of youth camps. Met my wife, Kimberly, at one of the camps. She was the assistant director of the camp. I was the camp pastor. And we started dating soon after the summer. I proposed. We got married
You
shortly
proposed
after
in a
that.
cemetery, to be fair.
I did propose in a cemetery. It's a long story. But our first date was in Washington, D.C. She's from Northern Virginia. And we went to Arlington Cemetery. And yeah, so there I pledged to lay down my life for her the way these men laid down their lives for the country. So I thought it was a pretty good speech. It was good enough for her to say yes. And we got married. We were living in New Orleans. I was pastoring for a while. I went on faculty at New Orleans Baptist Seminary for a while. We got in the adoption process. Had gone from being an interim pastor at a church in Mississippi to a permanent pastor there, and we ended up adopting 4 Ukrainian children at one time, and then
As one does.
as one does, we went for 2, came back with 4, and added an Ethiopian son Joshua a year after. So now we've got five grown kids. So it's been quite the journey.
Did you always want to be a pastor?
No. No. I wanted to be a professional baseball player, and maybe basketball. I loved both. I was just a little bit better at baseball, but yeah, I mean that's what I wanted to do. So even today, when people ask me what I do, I'm always like, "Why don't you guess?" And depending on the context, they never ever say pastor. I've heard everything, so I'm always like, I'm more surprised than you are. So no, I didn't set out to be, but love being a pastor.
Who has been some of your greatest influences?
My parents, my preaching mentor, Jim Shaddix, John Piper had a huge impact on me as a young seminary student. Over the last decade, Tim Keller, John Stott, his expositional preaching just really modeled. Brian Chappell, another guy who taught preaching and is still serving the church, and is just a great thinker when it comes to preaching and ministry. And then there's some historical heroes. I've got pictures of Luther in my office. Love Martin Luther. He's definitely not a perfect individual, nor am I. The same with Charles Spurgeon. Those would be my 2 probably historical heroes.
Yeah. If you weren't a pastor, what would you be doing?
I would be a coach. That's what I thought I was going to do when my college degree was in high school education,
Mm-hmm.
and my plan was to be a health and PE teacher and coach. And so I got qualified to teach and everything. So even when I went to seminary, I thought I still might actually be a high school teacher and coach baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't originally go to seminary to be a pastor. I went because I sensed the Lord calling me to ministry of some kind, and I just wanted to learn. I wanted to study, and so I was still very open to being in the school, and I had seen just the impact coaches and teachers have on students. So
Sure.
That's what I'd be doing.
Yeah. What is one thing that people might be surprised to learn about you?
Oh gosh. I like to cook. I don't have a big repertoire, but I love to cook, especially mainly I should say on Saturday. I'm not like the day-to-day cook.
Yes.
They might be surprised about how eclectic my music, my musical taste preferences, and how they vary from time of day and
Right.
week.
Walk us through your day with your music. I'm familiar with that.
So I get up and I tell Alexa to play classical focus. And so that's what I'm listening to in the morning. That's my deep work. I get up really early. And then I go to the gym, and the gym's a lot more upbeat. It's a lot of Christian hip hop, mingle with some other stuff that's kind of, pump you up kind of music. Yeah, and then I usually clean up, grab some protein, come to the church office, and then if it's still mid morning, it's some praise and worship music. But in the afternoon, I really like beats, so it's a lot of beats in the afternoon. And then when I go home, I listen to jazz. I like jazz for dinner, and now that's kind of the weekly rhythm. Okay, the weekend is a little different.
Oh.
When I do yard work if I'm home on Saturdays, and that's mainly country music. But I also grill out a lot on Saturday, and that I cut the country off. At that point, it's old classic rock. It's kind of Fleetwood Mac, kind of that genre of music. And Sunday mornings, praise and worship. Yeah, and when I drive, I have some different kind of music I like to listen to when I'm driving. But I like good music of all kinds. None of it, hopefully, is bad or immoral. But I do like. I like the best of all the genres, I guess. Yeah.
I did not see the country music cutting grass.
Yeah, not all country. Like, I can't stand a lot of country.
Okay. Fair enough.
And some of it's kind of crossover country, but nevertheless, yeah.
What do you do in your downtime?
Yeah, so I like to travel with Kimberly. I like to go to new places. I like to explore new places a lot. If I just had no job at all, I think I'd just live in Turkey and the Holy Land and just explore all the time. Yeah. I love doing that. I like to cook. That's very relaxing. I like doing yard work. That's also very relaxing. I love the beach. Prefer the beach to the mountains. I could just sit out there and read. I like to read books that have nothing to do with work. I've read so many biographies that are that I have no purpose in reading them other than I just think it would be interesting. So I've read biographies from CEOs to, Stonewall Jackson to you name it. And I'm interested in kind of not just biographies, but especially individuals who started stuff. And so those stories are also very striking to me.
Church planner in you.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
What is a bucket list item for you?
I still would like to do a Mediterranean cruise. I've seen most of the places where Paul has been. There are a few places I haven't, but I also would like to do that cruise and see Ephesus. I've been there a few times, but I haven't been to Patmos, and I want to see some more of the Greek islands. So that would be bucket list. The French Riviera. I would love to go there. The Amalfi Coast. I just love that whole Mediterranean culture. I love the food. I love the history. When you can combine history and pleasure and good food, I mean, that's just like perfect. So those are kind of bucket list places.
All right. What's something you're just bad at?
Well, I can't sing very well. I can't fix stuff. I'm not a repairman.
Not a handyman.
Not a handyman. I'll go after it occasionally. I'll YouTube it like anybody else.
You're ambitious.
But I would much rather pay someone like Michael Britt to know it's going to be done right than for me to try to do it. So my son James has been great through the years fixing stuff. So that's not a trade of mine, nor is like doing fixing cars. So not strengths.
Yeah. All right, last question. What excites you about IDC?
Well, one, I just like being a member at Imago Dei. I feel like we're in this place where I can't wait to be here on Sunday just to see our people. Not to necessarily pastor them, even though I'm obviously doing that. Right. But like I just enjoy our members. And I receive so much encouragement from them. And I don't know that, maybe this is partly because this is a church plant and we still kind of feel like a church plant. And so the pastor is there's a different kind of relationship I think church planting pastors have with church members in comparison to maybe established church pastors, and that has a long history. And they've been a number of pastors that passed through. Like I'm the guy who started, and I'm still here. Of course, I've started with other guys, but I just feel like I'm a member first, and that's a really great experience. So I don't feel a lot of pressure to like perform or like impress people.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's great to be one of IDC.
Yeah.
And so when I'm going through a hard time in my life or in our family, it's a great joy to know Sunday is going to be encouraging to us because people know us and they know some of our trials, and I'm not worried about that. I actually receive a lot of encouragement from them when they're aware, and so I mean just being part of the church excites me. I'm excited about kind of the missional initiatives we have here, constantly, sending folks to cities, nations, church plants. We're always fighting a little bit of sending fatigue, I think, at Imago Dei, and so it's one of the things we talk about a lot as elders. Is just we need space. We you can't just continue to send. So where it just you exhaust all your resources and you exhaust all your people and so on. But with that said, over the last 13 years, to just be able to see how many churches we've been able to plant and how many missionaries we've been able to send, it's pretty remarkable, and it's just wonderful to be part of a multiplying church, which was my vision from the beginning. Is I had no real numerical goals for our church. What I wanted was to plant multiple churches in the Triangle and elsewhere, and so to see the Lord do that is really special. We've also brought on some new leaders here, and that's been also just super exciting.
Yeah. Well, as a member of IDC, I can say yes to all that. We feel it too. All right. Thanks, Tony, for giving us your time. I hope y'all have enjoyed getting to know Pastor Tony a little more.